if you listen to what the media says about Eli Manning, you will hear things like, he's the worst quarterback in the NFL. He's awful. He's garbage. He can't throw. He's the reason why the New York Giants are losing games. And it's like, just loud and awful. And it's all Eli Manning is the worst. That's what you hear repeatedly. And I had to know for myself. I wanted to look at film and see, what does the film say about Eli Manning? Is he good? Is he not? What are his problems? What are we going to find out? And when I watched film, it made me a little bit uncomfortable because I realized, and I kind of found, he's still a good quarterback. Eli Manning is still a viable, competitive quarterback in the NFL. He doesn't suck. And he's, everyone talks about how immobile he is. He gets sacked because he can't run and he can't move. That's also not true. He's way more mobile than I expected. And he can still throw the football. He can still throw. It's like, everything I've heard about Eli Manning apparently is not true. Odell Beckham Jr. called him out last year and said he couldn't throw the deep ball. I don't know. I mean, look, they played together. Maybe they probably saw something at practice I didn't see, but what I saw on film was a guy who can make every throw he's expected to, and I was just really impressed. I don't know. Maybe people say he doesn't have any arm strength. I don't know what to tell those people, because what I saw on film was a quarterback who, again, can make every single throw and do everything that's expected of him. Now, look, Eli Manning's mechanics are terrible. I hate them. It's all arm. He doesn't really use his legs when he throws. And when I watch Eli Manning throw the football, I grimace. I go, ugh, that hurts. It hurts to watch. It hurts my neck. It hurts my shoulder. The dude just kind of hucks the ball downfield, and he doesn't finish his throws. There's no rotational force with his legs. He doesn't use his legs to create power at all. And then again, that's really hard on your neck and your arm. But man, he can throw. There is some atrophy, right? He's not the same thrower he was 5 years ago. He throws an interception on a deep out route, and the ball just takes a long time to get where it needs to go. I'm sure that 5 years ago, that throw was way, way easier for him. But like it or not, Eli Manning is still capable of making every throw he needs to make. Now, here's what Eli Manning does that is invaluable. He's really good at reading defenses. He throws the ball to the right spot basically every single time. He's way more reliable than a rookie quarterback would be. Other than one exception, he does not force the ball downfield over and over and over again. There were examples where, third and long, second and long, Eli Manning does not force the ball downfield. He takes what the defense gives him and throws the ball underneath. There's a great example of this. It's 3rd and 16 against the Eagles. The Eagles coverage backs way off. He doesn't force it. He throws underneath to his running back, and ultimately that leads to a first down. And I'm telling you, we saw that over and over and over again. He makes great read after great read. He goes to the right spot with the football. And here's what's really bizarre. Eli is incredibly responsible with the football. Eli Manning does not force the ball into coverage unless, this is where it's weird, unless he's throwing the ball to Odell Beckham Jr. Eli makes great reads. He only throws the ball to his wide receivers deep if they've actually beat their man by a step. If they beat their man, if they have a step on their guy, Eli Manning will take a shot, throw the ball deep downfield. But Eli Manning becomes a different quarterback when he's throwing to Odell Beckham Jr. It's bizarre. It's wild. The really patient, really safe guy suddenly is forcing the ball into coverage and making really bad decisions. Only when he's throwing to Odell Beckham Jr., he becomes, again, a different quarterback. It's bizarre to watch on film. There's a play against the Eagles at 2nd and 10. There's 17 seconds left before halftime. And the Eagles basically run a prevent defense. They have 2 safeties on the goal line. They have 2 corners taking away deep sideline throws. And they have 3 defenders on the inside to take away deep digs and deep posts in the middle of the field. Eli floats the ball up into the middle of the field for Odell Beckham Jr., and it's an easy interception. Instead of checking the ball down and setting the Giants up for a field goal, he broke protocol and forced a throw to OBJ. It can't be a coincidence. It can't. And if you watch Odell Beckham Jr.'s body language all season, it was awful. It was awful. He doesn't want to be there. When he didn't get the ball, he showed everyone in the stadium, everyone watching, he showed, I'm upset. I don't like this. I should have gotten the ball. He doesn't need to say anything to be very vocal and expressive with his body language. And when I watch that, I see multiple things. I see 3 things. The first thing is that Odell Beckham Jr. did not trust his quarterback. The second thing is that OBJ is immature. And the third thing is that Eli Manning did a really poor job communicating with his wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr. They did not communicate well, and that's on Eli. That's Eli's fault. If my wide receiver was doing that, having really bad expressive body language, very obviously unhappy, I would go up to him, I'd be very direct, and I would really try to find common ground to say, dude, let's get on the same page. How do we do this? How do we fix this? What's going on? I want to work with you. You want to work with me. We want to be successful and win. And it's like Eli, I don't know if you would think Eli did that, but it didn't work. And it wasn't something, there's some kind of disconnect. Eli and OBJ were never on the same page. And it's funny, man. Eli treats OBJ differently than he does every other wide receiver on the Giants last year. When I watch that, I see multiple things. I see three things. The first one is that Odell Beckham Jr. does not trust his quarterback. Right? It's sad. That's what I see. The second thing is that OBJ is just immature. He doesn't handle things very well. And the third thing is that Eli Manning does a really poor job of communicating with his wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, look, if that's on Eli, right? If my wide receiver was doing that, being very expressive, showing he's unhappy, I'd go up to him, I'd be very direct and say, dude, how do we solve this? How do we get on the same page? I would really try to find common ground. It's clearly, it didn't work for Eli. Whatever Eli was doing, he was not getting onto the same page with Odell Beckham Jr. And they never were. They never were on the same page. And what's even more interesting is Eli Manning treats OBJ differently than every other wide receiver on their team. He throws riskier passes to him that really he would have never thrown to anybody else. And here's what's really important. Eli Manning throws the ball to Odell Beckham Jr. in critical moments. And multiple times on those critical moments, it didn't work. Whether it was Eli's fault or OBJ's fault, it did not work. It did not make things happen. There's a 3rd and 4. The Giants are losing to the Eagles 19-22. There's 6 minutes left, and OBJ gets a one-on-one matchup. Eli throws him the ball, and he does not make the play. The receiver doesn't come down with the ball. How about this? On 4th and 3 against the Panthers, OBJ just flat out drops the ball. He does not catch the ball, does not make the play. Well, here's one that's even worse. On 3rd and 8 against the Cowboys, OBJ basically makes no effort to catch a ball over the middle. He would have gotten hit. He looked like he was unwilling to take a hit and catch the ball. And, man, it's really interesting. He makes a lot of finesse plays. And whenever it's convenient for him, he's fantastic, but he's not a gritty wide receiver. He's not a guy who's going to make the play in critical moments when you need him. And that doesn't strike me as the kind of guy I want on my team. Look, we're getting too caught up. I think the point is this. I believe Eli Manning will be a better quarterback in the future when Odell Beckham Jr. is no longer on his team. I know that's weird. I know that's out there, but that's what I see. Now, Giants fans are on one side or the other. Everyone either believes Eli Manning was the problem or Odell Beckham Jr. is the problem. I hate to break it to you guys. It's neither. The Giants' offensive line, that was the problem with their offense. Their offensive line was atrocious. They were awful and just, oh my gosh, they were so hard to watch. Really, considering how bad the Giants' offensive line was, Eli Manning did pretty well. He had 4,299 yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and a 66% completion percentage. Here's what's really sad. Last offseason, the Giants signed left tackle Nate Solder to a massive contract. 4 years, $62 million, $35 million guaranteed. And, yeah, that contract was awful. That's not a good contract by the Giants general manager, Dave Gettleman. Over and over and over again, their offensive line was just terrible. I mean, so many clips. I have so many clips on my computer where Eli Manning had absolutely no chance in the pocket. He just got annihilated. I mean, teams got pressure on Eli immediately with a 4-man rush. Eli Manning would be at the end of his drop, taking a 5-step drop, and would already have pressure in his face, be getting sacked. You can't have that. You can't win games when that's your offensive line. I mean, look, the Giants had 5, sometimes 6 people in blocking, and they still couldn't block a 4-man rush. That's really, really awful. Now, there's one play in particular I want to share. It's against the Cowboys. And the Cowboys do a really, really good job confusing the offensive line. Pre-snap, the Cowboys have 6 guys on the line of scrimmage. All 3 Giant wide receivers have a defender standing directly in front of them. Their defender's eyes are directly on their wide receivers. And what that tells us, if you're a quarterback looking at this, you go, that looks like man coverage. And of the 6 guys on the line of scrimmage, one of those guys has to pick up the running back. You don't blitz 6 guys and have nobody pick up the running back. It tells us if you're a quarterback, the Cowboys are probably bringing a 5-man rush. Cowboys are blitzing. That's what you know. You know the Cowboys are bringing pressure. They're coming after the quarterback. There's also 2 high safeties deep to help over the top, which means that their plan is we're going to run man coverage to take stuff underneath with 2 deep safeties helping. Now, late before the snap, Cowboys linebacker Jalen Smith backs off. Number 54, the linebacker in the middle, backs out. And at about the same time, the safeties rotate. One rotates up to the middle of the field and one rotates down over the slot receiver. Now, the defender that was in front of the slot receiver creeps towards the line of scrimmage. And what this is the Cowboys have been disguising their coverage. They made it look like one thing, and then right before the snap, changed it and ran something else. Now, the Cowboys did blitz 5 people. That's what the look they gave. The look was the Cowboys looked like they were going to blitz 5 guys. They do blitz 5 guys, but they blitz a different 5 guys than it initially looked like. The linebacker from the right side blitzes, and the Cowboys' defensive line runs a stunt. What a stunt is where defensive linemen cross each other. They cross paths and make it harder for the offensive line to block them. So as the play begins, the Giants center has nobody in front of him. He has no idea pressure's coming from the right. The center overcommits to the left. He's not in position to pick up the defender coming from the right. And this kind of thing happened all the time with the Giants' offensive line. Giants' offensive linemen were often badly beaten or completely out of position, and Eli Manning had no chance because of that. Eli's a solid quarterback. He could still win games in the NFL. And the truth is, if the Giants get a better offensive line, he could still win games in New York. But what kills me is Giants fans who believe that Dwayne Haskins or Josh Rosen is the answer to all their problems. There's not a single quarterback I can think of who could win games consistently with that offensive line. They are awful. So here's the deal. All these people have hot takes by Eli Manning. They're calling for people's jobs, and I think it's wildly inappropriate. I don't think you can have an opinion like that when you're uninformed. Here's what I saw in film is Eli Manning has flaws. He's not a perfect quarterback, and he's old. I mean, the Giants have to find some kind of plan for when Eli Manning eventually retires. But Eli Manning is not a terrible quarterback. He can still make all the throws he needs to. He makes great decisions. He just needs an offensive line. Eli Manning can still play. My name is Zach Schaumler. This is my podcast, Strong Opinion Sports. It is my favorite thing in the entire world. And I want to ask for your help. I want this show to grow. I want more people to watch and more people to listen to this podcast. My dream is to do this show as my full-time job. I want to own it myself. I want to do it on the internet and have complete control. I don't want to do it for CBS or ESPN. I don't want to work for a big network. I want to own it myself. And if you believe in that dream, please do me a huge favor. Help me grow by telling your friends about this podcast. Share it on Facebook, share a link on Twitter. Maybe you screenshot it, put it on Instagram. I don't have a marketing strategy beyond this. This is all I have. You know, a lot of people, one of the most common comments I get on YouTube is, you have great content. We love your stuff. You deserve more viewers. What you should do is you should buy ad spaces on Facebook or Twitter or promote yourself and buy revenue, like buy ads. I have no money. I am a broke college kid. I can't buy ad spaces. I don't have money to pay for books. And so my plan, this is my marketing plan. This is my strategy. All I plan to do is put every ounce of effort I have into making the very best podcast I can. I believe if I make a great product that people believe in, that people like, then they will share it with their friends. And so if you agree with that, if you believe in the show, if you like what I do, please do me a huge favor. Tell your friends about it. Help me grow by telling your friends about this podcast.